Hey everybody, I'm Dan McClellan. I'm a scholar of the Bible and religion. Let's take a look at a video.
Why was the book of Enoch removed from the Bible?
First Enoch was not taken out of the Bible because it fell out of favor with most Christian communities by the time the Bible took shape. That occurred at the end of the 4th century CE. That is when we begin to get the authoritative declarations of canon within the majority of Christian communities. Now, there is one church that maintains First Enoch as a part of its canon. That's the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, and this is one of the main reasons we have knowledge of the book of First Enoch. And it is a part of their canon because that canon developed independently of most of what was going on further north within the other Christian communities. Around the second quarter of the 4th century CE, missionaries came south to what was then known as the Kingdom of Aksum, and they brought with them manuscripts from the Septuagint, which at the time included a lot more texts considered authoritative, considered sacred, one of them being First Enoch. And so it was after those missionaries came south to the Kingdom of Aksum that the Christian congregations up north decided, you know what, it doesn't seem like this is authentic. This would have had to have survived from before the flood in the shape it is in now, which is unlikely. It is also internally inconsistent and has contradictions between the different books of the 5 books that constitute First Enoch. And so Christians decided internally, based on internal contradictions, based on the implausibility of this text having survived from before the flood, that First Enoch probably was not inspired scripture. And then by the end of the 4th century, we can see the firming up of a delineation of what was canon and what was not, and that's when we can begin to talk about the Bible.
If it was telling us truthful and powerful information.
Well, it wasn't. First Enoch is fan fiction, more or less, based on the story of the B'nai Elohim, the children of God, coming down to earth and having children with human women from Genesis 6, verses 2 through 4. And then it also includes elements of the story of the flood. And while in Greco-Roman period Judaism it was incredibly influential and even influences a lot of what's going on in the New Testament and even into early Christianity, it is not historical.
We have always been told that it was taken out of the biblical canon in the 4th century as it was incompatible with the other sacred texts.
While its incompatibility with other texts that had already become authoritative inspired scripture certainly played a role, its internal inconsistencies as well as the implausibility of its authenticity were the primary factors in it falling out of favor with most Christian communities.
But is this what really happened?
Yep.
You see, it is no mystery that the world has always been under the control of a powerful group of people.
No, it's not a mystery, it's an idiotic conspiracy theory.
So what if its removal was not due to its incompatibility, but because it contained the disturbing truth about human history, that the religious authorities at the time did not want to be public information?
Yeah, that'd be bananas, but that's just a silly conspiracy theory that someone made up that isn't supported by any data, and the data tell us pretty clearly why First Enoch fell out of favor with early Christians.
Well, what's in the books of Enoch? It tells a story of rebellious angels, known as the Watchers, who disobeyed God. They taught forbidden knowledge to humans, such as astrology and the creation of harmful weapons.
Don't forget they taught him about makeup, too.
They then went even further and committed the unholy act of uniting with human women. And as a result, the Nephilim were born, part human, part angel.
That is not what First Enoch says. Chapter 7 very clearly states that the Watchers father with human women the giants, and then the giants produce the Nephilim, and then the Nephilim produce a group that is called the Eliud according to the Greek text, but Elyo according to the Ethiopic and other texts. We're not sure exactly how to reconstruct that name, but according to First Enoch, there are 3 generations of offspring. First the giants, then the Nephilim, and then this last group that may be the Elyo or the Eliya or the Eliud.
Many dismiss the Book of Enoch and see it as invalid.
Well, at least not historical.
However, if we look carefully at our world today, a lot adds up.
Particularly if you have a proclivity for just making stuff up to support idiotic conspiracy theories.
And we can see that the Book of Enoch is actually much closer to our reality than we may think.
Not really.